Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. I want to do a little thing with Jonathan Alpert, our next guest. So let's go to him straight away. Jonathan Alpert is a psychotherapist practicing in New York and Washington. He's the author of the forthcoming book, Therapy Nation, which will be out this May. Jonathan, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, Dan, for having me. Appreciate
All right,
it.
can we? I want to do this thing. I want to lean on your professional expertise as a psychotherapist to help us paint profiles of some people in the news that I think it would just help if we could understand them and sort of understand them maybe as an archetype for a wider representation, a wider group of people in America. Maybe that would help us drive to some sort of understanding of certain political dynamics at play. Can we try this?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as one of those people isn't Candace Owens.
No. But she does need to be under someone's care. All right, let's start with Michelle Obama. Okay, I got two clips from Michelle Obama, and I just want you to paint a profile. Now, this is, we've got obviously a lot of content from Michelle Obama in the public domain, but where she is now in her life, in the almost a decade and a half removed from being the first lady and the bestsellers and the speaking tours and now her podcast. All right, a couple of clips from Michelle Obama and see if we can give us a little bit of a profile on her. First, Michelle Obama, in terms of what happened to her and her identity when she became first lady.
I was a dean of students. I was like, oh, you guys, all of that just disappeared in the course of this whole election, and you now see me as just Barack Obama's wife. So that made me say, that quickly, my shoes become the most important thing about me, right? And again, not unique to me. It can happen to the best of us. So I shied away from fashion leading the conversation, but I knew I didn't completely control it. So let's lean in.
Okay, so that's one. And she started there talking about her phony baloney job at University of Chicago where she pretended to be some dean of students, but I digress. So that's her perspective. Okay, who she thinks she is and what happened to her identity when she became first lady and why she didn't want to talk about fashion so much, didn't want to lead the conversation about fashion. But speaking of fashion, one more when it comes to the choices she makes about fashion, ironically, right now.
If I hear of someone whose fashion that I like and I know that they're a person of color, I try to make it a point. But the clothes have to be available. I think we can all do some work to think about that balance in our wardrobes. What does our closet look like and who's in it? Mm-hmm. Who are we supporting in it? Right. And I think if you have the money to buy Chanel, then you have the money to buy everybody. Right. And so let us be mindful, I think would be my advice. Yeah.
All right, Jonathan, give us a sketch.
Well, she's influential, and I'm sure some people will listen to her and start to spend their money differently and shop certain vendors or designers. And she's going on a podcast to speak her mind, and good for her. First of all, I don't think anyone ever defined her by her shoes or just being Barack Obama's wife. I mean, she did a lot or attempted to do a lot, and first ladies have to find their way, and our current first lady has found her shtick and her niche, and it's just a challenge many first ladies face, whether it's Mrs. Bush or Mrs. Obama or the current first lady. It's a big challenge, and I'm sure there are some growing pains that come with that. And we're so far past the Obama presidency. I don't even know why this is being talked about now. Is she pushing a new book?
Well, no, I don't. She probably her podcast. I think she needs more subscribers.
Yeah.
She wants to, but I mean, well, that's part of it too. Why is she pushing it? So what's the psyche though? What's the psyche that's presenting there when you hear comments like those that she made and the choices that she's making in terms of how she tries to maintain a public presence?
Well, I think part of it is she's trying to represent herself as someone who had it very difficult in the White House, and maybe she had her challenges. I don't know, but she's also had quite an impressive life after she graduated college, and I think she should be focusing on all the successes that she had, and maybe trying to be a trailblazer and not just complain about how difficult it was to be in the White House.
Okay, let me try another one. I mean, these are two different individuals, but they're sort of presenting similarly. And this is a lot about like the psychology of how people see themselves or want others to see them. This is Tim Walz. He's the outgoing governor of Minnesota. And this is his characterization of what is happening on the ground in Minnesota with respect to federal law enforcement.
Our history, when things looked really bleak, it was Minnesota's first that held that line for the nation on that July 3rd, 1863. And I think now we may be in that moment that the nation's looking to us to hold the line on democracy.
He was comparing the situation in Minnesota today to the Battle of Gettysburg, in case you didn't catch that. So Minnesota's first held the line the way that a modern-day General George Meade, is holding the line in Minnesota. So that's one. General George Meade.
I think Governor Walz is grossly misinformed if he thinks the rest of the states are looking towards Minnesota for guidance on how to run their own states.
Well, yeah, okay, but Tim Walz's mind, in Tim Walz's mind, he's General George Meade. Now, I'll give you another example. DeWoke farmer William Scott Kelly, who's now under arrest for violation of the FACE Act. He was, he was the guy that led the charge, the face of the professional agitators in Minnesota, I would argue. But this is what he had to say when he was daring Pam Bondi to come and arrest him.
I mean, what we're seeing around this country is they're using their political influence to attack people that disagree with them. They're going to come at me with charges, and I'm not scared of that. There's no base for these charges. I did not block them from, their service. They welcomed us in. They never asked us to leave. The police never came in and removed us. So we didn't stop their service. In fact, people were still praying the entire time. The music was still playing the entire time. So, Pam Bondi, you want to come and arrest me? You want to come and give me charges? So be it. And for all the people giving me death threats, threatening my life, kill me. Go ahead, kill me. Because you know what? As Fred Hampton said, you can kill the revolutionary, but you can't kill the revolution.
Okay. All right. So the governor of Minnesota, he's a modern-day George Meade. And DeWoke farmer is a modern-day Black Panther revolutionary. Give us the profile.
I don't understand why these people think that they're so important that they compare themselves to historical figures. It just blows my mind that they elevate themselves to that level. And he disrupted the service. There's no question about that. And then to taunt Pam Bondi to come and get him. These people are reckless, and they care so much about these causes that they're willing to put their lives on the line. And if you don't insert yourself in these situations, you probably won't get hurt or won't get arrested. But they don't seem to be thinking about that in the moment. They care so much about these causes more than they care about their families, their careers, their reputation. We had a video that went viral yesterday of a nurse, I believe she was in Florida, who was ripping on Caroline Leavitt, and she's a delivery nurse, and she was talking about Leavitt being pregnant and how she would never treat her. And she's really just putting her career on the line, one that she worked so hard to get to. So it really blows my mind that these people don't seem to care about anything in that moment other than their stupid cause.
But if you have somebody, I don't know if you've ever counseled somebody with essentially like a martyr complex, like DeWoke farmer, They desire to be a martyr, or they have, just an inflated sense of self, and they're putting their life on the line. Tim Walz thinking he's a general in this great civil war. I mean, how do you counsel somebody that thinks of themselves in this way, and that informs their behavior, obviously?
Yeah, they're delusional. They're not looking at facts. They villainize the other side. They villainize the U.S. government or a political figure. We've seen this play out in such tragic ways with the assassination attempt on Trump, with the killing of Charlie Kirk. You could even look at the killing of the United Healthcare CEO. These people, they villainize these individuals to the point where they think it's their duty to take them out. And it's a real problem that I only see growing in our society. These people feel emboldened to take action in the ways that they have. So as far as counseling them, some of them are a lost cause, but with others, I do try to help them separate fact from fiction, or in their case, fantasy, and help them to understand what's actually happening. And, we go back to Trump, and a lot of people that I counseled thought that they would get rounded up and sent off to a faraway island just because they are gay or bisexual or trans. And there's absolutely no evidence that Trump ever wanted to do that or did it. But these people believe that was happening. So really counseling them to try to understand what the facts are and ease them back into reality. Sometimes that works.
Something that you wrote about a few weeks ago in the Post is interesting, because it's one of these phrases you hear over and over again from these automatons that we see on full display chasing ICE around. Part of sort of the progressive script, which is being seen. I'm not seen. Finally, I'm seen. It's all about being seen as sort of an abstraction. And you wrote about that, some of the patients that you have, where they tell you that after Mamdani's election in New York City, now they finally feel like they're seen. When somebody says that, what are they, how do you receive that, and how do you react to that, and how do you, help them process that? I just find that such it's ubiquitous. It's a statement that is being made, everywhere. But I don't exactly know what it always means, other than sort of the navel-gazing quality of it.
Well, and these are the same people probably that were out there during BLM, No Kings, pro-Palestine, supporting Luigi Mangione. They want to identify with fringe groups. In their mind, they think this is mainstream, but it's really not. Most people in this country are not out there protesting ICE. Most people are far too busy trying to maintain a career or family than to go out there on the streets and act like jerks. But for these people, it's part of their identity, and they have a charismatic leader, whether it's Mamdani or someone else or Tim Walz, and they feel like they're finally seen and heard and respected by this figure.
So it's a belonging thing. It's like a shared. I mean, and it's the siren song of identitarian politics, and it provides a sense of belonging. It seems to me, and one of the thing, and then it's you get into this sort of race to the bottom of whoever behaves more sort of recklessly and hysterically. Is the best example for the group, is the most committed to the cause. And it's something else too, and I want to get your reaction to. It calls to mind something that Theodore Dalrymple told me when we were talking in the context of COVID and the mania that swept this country. Mm-hmm. And part of it was this element of frisson, as he said, which is the feeling, the feeling like you're doing something very important, and you sort of suggest that there's this great risk and great import to what you're doing, when in point of fact it's very low risk. There's nothing you're really accomplishing, but it's this I don't know, this mania that takes over, where standing in an idiot circle and excoriating those who don't, or wearing 4 face masks and a bag over your head. Like, I'm most committed to the cause, and we're going to overcome this together, and we're winning, and what we're doing is so important. But the risk is de minimis. There's nothing that's going to happen to you, but you present yourself as like you're putting your body and livelihood and very life on the line.
Well, and what you've described here is bad group therapy, people just getting around a cause, venting, complaining, but really going nowhere. In this case, I think these people have an inflated sense of self. It's almost like they're going to war and they need to suit up and wear 4 masks and silly outfits and all that. Reality test. Are we really under attack? Are ICE agents really attacking innocent people? Are they deporting them for no reason? I think people need to look at the facts in this case. But, in their minds, they've demonized such a big part of the country. Anyone.
Did we lose Jonathan? Oh, I guess we lost him. All right, we'll see if we can take a quick break, see if we can bring him back to wrap it up. We'll be right back. Chicago's Morning Answer.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. Sign up for the AM 560 Answer Advantage to get early alerts on event ticket sales, special discounts, and contest opportunities. Sign up today at 560theanswer.com/advantage. AM 560, The Answer.
All right, we've got psychotherapist Jonathan Alpert back. Jonathan, I just wanted to let you, finish your thought there. We were talking about the frisson, the overcoming, the idea that people are doing something important and overcoming something that is monumental, and together we're going to achieve victory. When it's just it's not real, and it's not in anyone's best interest to hate half the country or hate people who voted differently than you. I would argue that you're doing yourself a disservice. It's very unhealthy for your mental health to run around hating people. Hopefully we can change. Hopefully we can get to a point where Democrats and Republicans can actually be friends and not feel like they have to cut relatives out of their lives just because they voted differently than them. But this, from what I see, is only growing, this division. A piece that you wrote that was sort of interesting, too. You never know what exogenous factor is going to get people to stop reading from the script and behave consistent with what they actually believe. And what Ozempic and other drugs have done to the whole body positivity movement, which was part of progressive dogma, too, until Ozempic arrived.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see how Ozempic has changed my practice and people's attitudes around body positivity. Body positivity was such a big movement for a small segment of the population. Love your body, those types of words were just everywhere with some people.
Fat shaming and all this, right?
Fat shame, love your body. And it seems like that doesn't even exist anymore. And there's now shame or almost embarrassment in discussing that you're taking Ozempic. So it's created a conflict. People are striving to be thinner, and maybe they just feel conflicted because they feel like they need to uphold some of the body positivity movement. So I see that playing out with people where they're torn. They don't know if they should embrace the GLP-1s or if they should embrace being overweight and unhealthy.
Well, right. But, Eli Lilly's stock price isn't going through the roof because people, at the end of the day, don't really want to lose the weight, don't really want to be thinner. And this provides a shortcut to get there. But I mean, it all the things that we know about obesity, they know too. And people would like to, if they could snap their fingers, and now to some extent they sort of can, they take that option. I mean, that's the normal reaction. So it's just funny that, like they could, it's one of those things where I mouth the words until I can, provide, until a path is provided where I can act really consistently with what I do think.
Yeah, I agree. But there's also an abuse of Ozempic that I'm seeing. People are not using it as a last resort, but they're reaching for it quickly, and
yes, sure.
It seems like they're unwilling to work on lifestyle and diet and exercise before going to Ozempic. So that needs to change as well.
Jonathan Alpert is a psychotherapist practicing in New York and Washington, D.C. He's the author of the forthcoming book coming this May, Therapy Nation. Jonathan, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much, Dan. Take care.
Take care. And he joined us on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Don't get stuck with